please.
Okay. Good afternoon.
You're still whispering.
Can you hear me?
I said you're still whispering.
No, I'm not whispering. I think I'm having network issues.
No, it's not network issues, it's your voice.
Okay, ma, I'll speak louder.
It's not just louder, speak with more authority. You're sounding very tired, uninterested, laid back, and everything in between. Should I sound the way you sound?
Okay.
I'm sure in 15 minutes, everybody will just find a way to log out. Should we do that? Should we play that game?
No, we shouldn't, ma.
Oh, great. So speak like a person who is alive, who is interested, who is happy, who likes and wants to be here.
Okay, ma.
So when you're ready, I am.
Okay, ma, we're ready for the class.
Okay. Who are?
Yes, ma. We're all present, ma.
Hello, Tamara. Okay, so why
Yeah.
not begin by introducing our lecturer? I think you have her profile. Why not just
Yes.
introduce her properly? Then she takes the floor. Huh?
Okay. Okay, so everyone, I'm going to give us a brief profile on Enoh Ogbevire. Our lecturer for today is a multiple award-winning Nigerian broadcast journalist. She's an accomplished multimedia journalist with widespread experience working in television, radio, text, and digital for Hot FM Abuja, Grace FM Lokoja, Confluence Television Lokoja, and City 105.1 Lagos and Nigeria Info PH. She also heads the news department at Cool FM, Wazobia FM, Nigeria and Info FM stations in Port Harcourt. She presents and provides content for radio and digital media. In 2016, she won the Best Radio Newscaster in the female category and Nigerian Broadcaster Merit Award. And in 2018 and 2019, she won the Media Awards Prize for the radio show host. Miss Enoh Ogbevire has authored 2 books, and the mic came on, a book that talks about the strategies and mindsets for a phenomenal career, and another book, Your Money or Your Life. Enoh Ogbevire has built an inspiring career as a moderator and speaker. She enjoys questioning the status quo. She believes anyone can get to any height in life if they desire to, and are willing to put in the work that is required. So everyone, please let's welcome our lecturer for today, and let's pay attention while the lecture is going on so we can learn new things which we can apply to our career as broadcasts and as journalists in the profession and as people aspiring to be something in the media, in Nigerian media today. Thank you. Okay, Ma, we're ready for you.
Okay. I said we're 12 people in this room, right?
Yes, Ma, we are.
Oh, so let me hear the other people. Your name is Tamara. Who's next? Someone else, please let me hear you speak.
Okay,
Sorry,
good
ma, can you hear me?
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mike Cookie. My Cookie is my name.
Mike Cookie.
Yes, madam. Yes, ma. Mike Cookie is my name.
All right, who else is there?
Good afternoon. My name is McDonald Samuel.
McDonald Samuel.
Yes.
McDonald Samuel, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, who's next?
Ashley Success
Good
Fragma.
afternoon. My name is.
Sir, I didn't get your name. Hello.
Good afternoon. I'm Blessing Chidera.
All right, Blessing. The gentleman that spoke earlier before you, I didn't get his name.
Good afternoon, ma. I'm Asha C. Frank.
Asha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
Who's
afternoon,
next?
ma. I am Michael Ebenezer.
Okay. Who else?
Good afternoon, madam. My name is Ariole Elvis.
Ariole Elvis. All right.
Yes,
Who's
ma'am.
next?
Good afternoon, ma.
Good
My name is
afternoon.
Kayode Fagbegi.
Kayode Fagbemi. All right.
Fagbegi. Yes, ma.
Fagbegi. All right. Fagbegi. Yeah, got
Yes.
that. Thank you. And that's it.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Abiazem Olisa.
Abiazem Ulisa, you and the other person share the same flyer. Okay. Who is next?
Good afternoon, ma. Itari Tango.
All right. Thank God. Who's next?
Good afternoon, ma. I'm Wisdom Yellow.
I like your photo. Who's next? Okay. I think we're good to go. All right. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your time. I'm on a tight schedule. I apologize. I think I came a bit late trying to sort out the link and stuff. My name is Enoh Ogbevire. I've done this for about 15 years now. And I was saying on radio this morning that from the first day to the first week, to the first month, to the first quarter, to the second quarter, the third quarter, and the year, the first year, it's been a learning experience. And 15 years after, nothing has really changed. The only thing that has changed is that I make less mistakes because I've chosen to intentionally and constantly improve, right? So one of the dangers that happens to people who join the media is that we have this group of people that will always praise you. I have an amazing voice. I mean, for days, maybe for centuries. So by virtue of my voice alone, some people think that I don't have to have great content, but that's not true. The first thing is we need to understand the job that we're doing. Broadcasting is not about you, darling. It is not about you. You're like the cup that someone uses to serve tea or coffee or juice or water. So it's not about the cup, it's about the content. So if a person is thirsty, they don't need a cup, they need water. I mean, bad as it bad. If you give them water and they have to do this to drink it, they would use it, right? That's why if you want to be a success in this industry, you cannot be just anything that conveys a message. You have to be that person that when you're on, anyone who's listening should know that there's someone on radio or there's someone on TV or there's someone who's typing if it's a digital media or someone who's doing that video, right? So while media might look glamorous, some of you think that we're having the best lives. We are not. Let nobody fool you. We are not. See, that best life part is like the bottom 10%. The 90% part is the hard work that you have to put into doing whatever it is that you do. So for example, I'm on the morning show and I do the morning news sometimes, means that I have to wake up anytime from 3 a.m. So it's not a case of, I'm not an early riser. So it's whatever the job requires, you must do. You know, we say show must always go on. So it's okay to say you want to be a broadcaster, but you have to decide from day one, how high do I want to go? How far do I want my name to travel? And with social media, you don't have an excuse. If you're not using social media well to push your brand, then that's your business. 24 hours in a day, you can dedicate 1 hour every day, or maybe even 30 minutes to say, I'm going to put out such great content online. So when Port Harcourt, for example, I work with Nigeria Info, I also do stuff with Cool FM and Wazobia FM. But imagine if after all these years, so I've been here for like 9 years, right? So imagine that in the 9 years, the only people that have heard me are those that live in Port Harcourt or River State. They may be parts of Imo, parts of Akwa Ibom, parts of Bayelsa. Isn't that just a waste of my awesomeness? So what can I do? I can do cutaways from my show, put on Instagram, put on Twitter, put on Facebook. I can even pre-promote my show on those channels as well. On LinkedIn, I can put a badass profile, write something I know or share something I do, even if I do it with a group. So I'm always putting stuff out there. I'm showing up. So one of the key ways, which is part of the hard work, is showing up even when you don't feel like it. I was telling him this morning on radio that I know someone in Port Harcourt, and the person says to me, the only way I can know that something is really wrong with you is when they put a microphone in front of you and your voice doesn't come up. Then I know that I know it's dying. Otherwise, forget it. So there are days that I'm really, really, really ill. I wake up at 3 and I feel like, oh my God, not today. Can I just sleep in? And I remember that I have an enormous responsibility that millions of people are waiting for me for different reasons. Yes, I mean, that's a cup is a cup. But that responsibility makes it difficult for me to just not show up at work, number one. Number two, show up at work and do a shoddy job. I think that's been a graver crime. So you want to have a serious benchmark of excellence. So anywhere they mention your name, they will say, this person, they finished work. Look at Sammy Wejian, for example. I'm not a sports fan. I don't think I have the time to consume that much and get, heartbroken because my team is not doing well. Nobody's going to pay me money whether they do well or not. Except maybe I'm betting. But I listened to Sammy. I mean, I've heard it many times. Yeah, so there's a difference. But I listened, was it last week? Yeah. Today is Thursday. So it must have been this week. I was driving. And you know what I just said? I said, you don't have to like a person. Person where they good, they good. Oh, Chidi, Lord, leave me alone. Someone that is good at what they do, they're good at what they do. So in this industry, we have to understand that you cannot focus on being liked more than focus on giving out excellent content. It's hard work. So I work in an industry, I've worked in several places, I've met several people, and you see that some OAPs, they're more concerned about being liked than about being the best thing on air. Yeah, so I have an academy and I ask my students all the time. So right now in Port Harcourt, we have about 21 radio stations. And I ask them, out of the 21, why should anybody listen to you? It's a question you want to ask yourself. Why should anybody tune from, I think it's 89.9, that's the first dial, to 106.5, that should be great power. In between all that, we have about 20, 21, maybe 22, maybe 24 right now. Why should anybody listen to you? That's where the hard work comes in. So you've got to put on your thinking cap. And I say all the time, the first job of a broadcaster is not speaking, is listening. What are the people talking about? What are they interested in? What are they passionate about? What burns in their heart? Those questions. So if Governor Wike sits with me in an interview, for example, there are questions I would never ask. Because nobody wants to answer, nobody wants to hear the answers to those questions. They're just lame. But if I do research, if I listen to the people, I understand what makes their heart beat, what makes their heart skip. When I want to prepare my interview questions, I know what I'm going for. So an interview is not just having the person sit across the table or on the other side of the phone. It's a journey, it's a story you're telling. What do you want to achieve at the end of this, your 30 minutes on radio, 1 hour on radio, 2 hours on radio, on TV? What do you want to achieve? I tell my class, students, I tell them, when I'm on radio, sometimes I just decide, let me frustrate these people. And I will so whine them like this, you hear when they call, you hear the frustration. But that's what I wanted to achieve. And because human beings are a certain way, once you're able to work up their emotions, then you're in for a good ride. So I work up their emotions, and someone is wondering, why is she sounding like that? But that's what I want to sound like that day. That's what I want to do. It's my plan, my map for the production for that day, right? Sometimes I'm telling a story, maybe on Rise to Wisdom, and I want to evoke a certain kind of emotion, the type that you just do like this. Hey, God, when? Aha. So because I want a God when reaction, my content will contain the kind of things that would push anyone to ask themselves, God, when? Showing up, the content that you put out, it's critical. Because imagine that a person would put their lives on pause to just listen. Really, Jiro, you're welcome. Thank you for joining in. Imagine that someone would just put their life on pause just to listen to you. Do you know what that is? They're giving a part of their life to you every day or every week. And then you come up and you give them horrible presentation. No, sir. No, madam. God will not forgive you. The industry will not forgive you. And that's the beginning of your fall. Yes, that's the beginning of someone listening and saying, are we playing here? What's that one talking about? Do you understand? So it's important that you think critically about your content by listening to what people are saying. What's going on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TV, radio? What are they talking about? What are my friends, those WhatsApp groups? What are they talking about? You know, and then research. There's nothing as interesting, as appealing as having data. If you say 96% of women in rural areas suffer a miscarriage in their first pregnancy, that is more powerful than saying many women suffer miscarriage in rural areas because there are no hospitals. No. Data it's a resource that we need to mine as broadcasters. So you need to learn how to do research. And when you do a research, how to get the meat. So let me ask a question. Who is the most important person in a radio station, on a TV? So who is the most important person? Let me hear 12 of you. Who's the most important person? Put on your mic and speak, then you can shut it out.
My name is Frank. I shall say Frank. I think the most important person in the radio is the presenter.
All right, next person, quickly, please. Next person.
McDonald Samuel,
Okay.
you can speak. McDonald Samuel, your hand is up. You can talk.
Samuel? Yeah, go on.
Then Kayode, go on.
Hey, Fagbegi.
The most important person is your listeners, your audience.
Okay, all right. Next person.
For me, it's the listener.
Okay.
I think it's the listener that's the most important person.
Yes, I also feel that it's the listener that is the most important person.
Why is that, Cookie?
Okay, so that's because the listener is your audience. So if you don't have anyone listening to you out there, you might as well just go to bed and be sleeping. So the listener, yeah, you get feedback from your listener or there. So,
all right, thank you.
Sorry,
Yes.
ma. How if you don't have a presenter that attracts the listeners?
Okay. Thank you. So basically, right, the work of a media house is to reach out to the people, right? With your content. That's what you have a message, use the medium, and there's someone who's delivering the message, right? So that's a giving. So it has to be there in the first place. It's like a business. You don't have goods, nobody's coming to buy. So technically, the presenters are like the goods in your store. Where the store is located is immaterial. Do you have goods? You know how, was it Martin Luther who said that if you, no matter where your house is, If you have something good, who will beat a path to come? I mean, you've heard people say they go to Babalawo inside one forest in Ogun State. Yeah. Why? Because they're looking for something. So when you get your license and your dial and your tuning and you hear something that wows you, you're going to stop on that dial and listen for a bit. But the same dial you're tuning, you tune to one place and by yourself, you quickly tune off. What rubbish is this? After they say they have radio station. Same person, different dial. So the listener is the most important person in a media house, the most important person. And that's why as media people, we have to understand that our role is not about you. You're a medium. It's not about you, it's about the person who is listening to you and the message you are conveying to the person per time. That is why they can always do without you. Have you heard any radio station closed because a presenter left them? I haven't in all my years. Because the presenter, the listeners will adapt or they would move with you. But nobody would shut down their mast, shut down their transmitter because Samuel is leaving. No, it's never happened, it won't happen. Presenters go, presenters come, radio station remains. And that's why as a presenter, you have to understand that you're not all that. Yeah, you can be awesome, yeah, but you're not all that. You are, you're not indispensable, but you're irreplaceable. Like in a relationship, you've seen people that they dated 4 years ago, they are still longing for that person. They've dated other people, but they are still longing for that person. And that's why some media houses will take in some people that worked with them before because they were just awesome and everybody loved them. Doris, you're welcome. So you must always also understand your task. And your task is to keep people listening for as long as possible. You have to keep, I mean, that's why your content is king. You have to keep people, as many people listening as possible. You can't let people should not tune off once you get on the radio, on TV. Once they tune in and you're on air, nobody should be able to tune off. Nobody should be able to do any other thing. They should not even be able to breathe. You should choke them with your awesomeness, with your content, with your personality, and with your presentation. That's where the hard work is. Do you understand? So you can't just be lax. You can't just be, oh, I want to be a superstar. There's work to be done. There's work to be done. So that's where the hard work is. And the hard work is not comparing yourself to other people. I've seen what some people do. Some youngsters, maybe they hear someone like Sammy and they want to be like Sammy. It's okay to want to be like Sammy, but you can't sound like Sammy. Because if I can hear Sammy sound his original self, why would I tune to you, who is a copy and a poor copy of that? There are mannerisms. So there's a radio station in Port Harcourt I listen to, and all the female presenters sound like one of the staff there. Someone, so what is your own voice? And that's part of the hard work, finding your own voice, knowing how to use your voice. It's very important. When I started out on radio, my first 3 years, I couldn't listen to my voice. I did a few liners, those, they're very short. So maybe 10 seconds, 15, I could deal, of course, with music, not just be talking for 15 seconds, but I couldn't sit to like play back news that I read or something. I found it very difficult. But with time, I started embracing my voice and I started learning how to use my voice. Especially when I started doing voiceovers. So I could do 4 different voiceovers and sound different. So it's something you must learn, how to use your voice. Not just for voiceovers, for the kind of emotions you want to evoke, for the kinds of reaction you want to get. So the competition is not with you and the person you want to be like, your mentor, it's with you and yourself. So yesterday I did this. You must listen back to your show. Yesterday I did this. What is today going to be like? How can I raise the ante? You can't, if I listen to you in 2020 and I'm listening again in 2022 and you sound exactly the same, no new anything, no new energy. Haba. Did I leave my radio on 2020? No, now. We moved 2 years. So there must be some improvement every day, every week, that you should be able to check. Timeliness, for example. Do I show up late to work? Do I prepare properly for my show? The beginning, the intro, even the kinds of songs you want to play, it's part of the preparation. Do I evoke the kind of emotion that I want? Do I get the kind of reaction I want while the show is on? Did I reduce mistakes I made yesterday? Am I getting better at it? Interacting with callers, difficult callers, managing my time on air, because that's also a very critical thing, time management. Did I manage my time well? That's why you must never hear anything like, something they say, we have run out of time. That's all time will permit us to. No, time did not permit you to. Before you got on air, you knew how many minutes you had to talk. So time did not permit you to, you just didn't prepare. Then connecting with other people in the industry, that one is proper hard work, because I hear that some people are competitive in nature, they jealous each other. Oh, because she works in this place, I won't talk to her. Because my brother, my sister, it's job, it's nothing more than that, it's just a job. And one of the ladders that you would need in this industry to grow are people. So you want to check for those who are extraordinary at what they do. Follow them on social media. Don't bug them. Don't hound them. Just follow them. Retweet the tweets that resonate with you. Comment on their posts. You can send them a DM every now and then. But you must connect with them, because many times, I'm in this industry. Many times when people want to move to other places, they don't go to the official places, like maybe the website. No, they ask someone they already know, someone who's comfortable with them, someone who has applauded what they're doing. And they say, Enoh, what's going on? Is there anything happening in your place? Are people taking? Are people looking at? So that person walking through the door first, before the person who is even good and is outside. So those connections, we must learn to make them. Your colleague is doing something, show up at their event. Nobody will die. Even if you're not going to be there for an hour, even if it's just 30 minutes, show face, take pictures with them, put it up on social media, hail them, and move. Do not take one star away from your shine. So that connection, and it's not just local, even in other countries, in other states, connect with OAPs. There's something on Instagram, some page that they post about OAPs. Every now and then comment. But you must always put yourself out there. You can't be tired on certain days. You have to do it all the time. We started radio when we wanted to hide. When I started radio, all the radio presenters, we didn't want anybody to know us. We're going to hide. But in your day, in the media, it's a different kettle of fish. All of you come with your real face. So now we are being forced out of the quiet, solitary life that we really wanted to live. So it's a different kettle of fish. And some of us still do that by writing. We don't show up a lot, but we write. So our books, our materials, our works, editorials go ahead of us. And that's something you must do. Where you have strengths, if you can write well, and even on radio or TV, try to write for newspapers, try to write for online medium. Your voice and your name needs to go as far as possible. It's a lot of work. You need to be consistent, you need to keep pushing, but you've got to do it. Then you have to have a plan. I've met people, and many of them don't have any plan. You just want to be working and working. You can't do that. You must have a plan, a trajectory. When I started out, I didn't have a plan, yes, because times were different then. And but I knew I wanted something, to be excellent at what I was doing. I was not going to take half measures. Understanding how to use the equipment, that's also very key. I've used at least 5 different softwares in my 15 years. I'm that person that when it comes to tech, I don't, to be hard, no. If anybody can do it, I can, so I learn. And with YouTube, you don't have an excuse. Do you understand? So you need to be able to use equipment effectively. I was doing TV camera when I was on TV. I was a presenter. When I see the camera guys setting the shots, I'll go and meet them. Show me when I'm not reading. Show me, how do you do it? How do you zoom in? How do you zoom out? And of course, my colleagues were not happy, but it was not their journey, it was my journey. So that desire for excellence kept making me want to learn as much as I could learn. I've said it, if you like, spend 100 years in this industry. If you don't understand the business of the industry, you're just going to be soldier go, soldier come. They would understand the business of the industry. Look at Tools and Baby, for example. They used to do this thing, is it off air or something like that? They'll have this banter as they're exchanging shifts. Baby used to hand over to Tools, right? On Beats 999 Lagos. And now they've taken that. In fact, you know, that used to be even the biggest part of their show. Now they've taken that off the radio and they now do it independently. I saw them the other day, the advertisement, they were in a private jet. Do you understand? So you need to go beyond just, oh, okay, when I started broadcasting, I had people that were just presenters, just newscasters, just studio managers, just voiceover artists. They were just one thing. So you could be excellent at one thing, yeah, but be good at others. I have my own studio. Yes. My computer, I bought a microphone that year. Can't remember how much I bought it, maybe £100. It was a long time ago. It's still working. My computer, my microphone, headphones, and I have sound beds, like a car shop sound bed. So what I do is I do jingles for people. I do documentaries. I don't have to go anywhere, just sit in my house, hold my microphone, and in less than 10 minutes, I've sent you the job. That's how fast I work. Time management. So the client says, oh, I like it, go. I don't like it. Can you adjust this, adjust that? Within 30 minutes max, you're done. What if you don't know how to use the equipment? Then you start begging someone in the studio, please now, give me small time. And the guy is, or the lady is acting funny. What do? You start to hate on them. Why you not feeling them? So I learned how to use the camera. I learned how to do TDX job. Those guys that pull these things that scroll, I learned all that. I learned everything that I could possibly learn in the media house. My first, that must have been my 4th year, yeah? I learned everything. And as I grew older, I started learning the business of broadcasting. Otherwise, you just be an chef forever. Where does the money come from in broadcasting? What ways can I earn? What other things can I do that connects me with this thing that I'm inside, this industry? There's a lot going on, from emceeing. I had this colleague then at City 1051, Uche Agbai. Uche was doing MC for big brands like Golda. That's another thing. Your religion. Come be at peace with your God, so that you will not be the foolish person that would not take certain gigs. Because I keep asking, the person that you buy noodles from, is he a Christian? Do you know? Is he an idol worshiper? Do you know? Do you know if he dug something under the ground? You don't know, but you just judge. I want. I know you have your religious inclinations and all that, but be at peace. Know what you're doing. Money, when it enters your hand, is clean money. Oh, I will not do jingle for this person, but you will play it on your station, or they are playing to your station and you're there on duty. I don't understand. If they're even choosing to put it on your own show because you know what you're doing. Do you understand? So learn the industry of the business and understand that your primary role, like I said, is to keep people listening for longest. If there's a new song and you play new songs on your show, can we have it? You want to connect with artists. With the pandemic, that was made easy. Social media, DM, everybody was reaching out to everyone. They were having live IG sessions. Now, what happened to those? People have gone back to, I can't reach MI. I can't reach Wizkid. I can't reach, but during the pandemic, everybody was reaching everybody. Not necessarily because people were not busy. Yeah, that was key though. But a lot of people reached, people made the effort. And you don't have to talk to Wizkid for 5 minutes or 15 minutes for your show to bang. Yeah, you can do a 2-minute interview. Wiz is busy. Just 1-2 questions, please. And they allow you. You have an exclusive. And you can do whatever you choose to do with it. And in all of this, you must understand how to work with your managers, those ahead of you, because one manager can destroy your life. I'm not even joking. You see, you cannot shine brighter than your manager. Some people are managers and they're very petty. You cannot shine brighter than them. You need to be able to learn how to manage emotions and relationships in the workplace. Otherwise, they will burst your cable, burn your transformer, and then you won't know what's going on because they'll be smiling with you. I've seen it before. If I ever heard when I was training many years ago, one of the veterans that trained us, it was in NTA in the early days, like 60s, yeah, 70s. And he said to me, their programs manager will take them, they'll go to the canteen, I don't know, media houses and canteen and alcohol. They'll be drinking. The guy will say, bring pepper soup. His show will go at, let's say, 3 o'clock. Around 2:45, the man will order pepper soup for them with cold beer. They'll be drinking. When it's 2:55, the man would stand up and go to the office. You know what he's going to do? He's going to prepare the query because he knows that they'll be drinking pepper soup and beer. Then when they come around 3:15, program has already failed. Oh, sir, just issue you the query straight. So you need to learn how to manage emotions, yours, theirs, and relationships in the workplace. It is a lot of hard work. See, creative people are not well. I say it all the time. Creative people, they are not well, they are mad. So you have your own madness, they have their own madness. But part of your job is to manage yours and theirs because you need to work together with them. Every day, maybe every week. You meet them on the corridor, you meet them in the canteen and the bus. It's a lot of hard work. When Olisa, I don't know if you know Olisa, he was on Beats as the morning show host with some girls that time. They know they talk, act enemies, let me just use that word. But when the microphone comes on, my, oh my, you want to eat the presenters. Flow, sweet, banter. Once the mic off, this one face Jerusalem, this one face Jericho. They don't even work on the same path. That's how bad it was. When they got on air, they knew how to be professional. It is a lot of work, but if you put in the work, we'll enjoy. Because it doesn't matter that politicians are your friends or not. It doesn't matter that these big people, they say to your front or not, but when you sit behind with them, they tell you you're doing a good job. But you know now, you're doing a good job. We understand what you're doing, we appreciate what you're doing. So don't look out for the praise. Instead, look for the criticism that will help you fine tune. It's not easy. After all the labor, after all the hustle, after all the preparation, you're not going to do a show. Your boss now calls you. What did you just do? What was that? Your heart will fall from your chest. You pick it up, you put it back. My chest. Calm down. We'll fight another day. Because for a broadcaster, you're as good as your last presentation. That's it. You're as good as your last. So that last one, it wasn't good. Cancels your other good ones you've done. That's why you must be very focused on what you're doing and what you're out to achieve. All right. I think I'm done here. Any questions?
Please, if you have any questions, raise your hand.
None?
Okay, Ma, in the absence of any questions, I would like to ask one myself.
Okay.
Okay, I want to know how to overcome stage fright.
How to, I didn't get that.
How to overcome stage fright.
Okay, so the truth is you have to get on as many stages as possible. You have to be the one chasing stage performances. That's the only way. How does a child learn how to walk? By walking, right? You fall, you stand again. But one of the things that I think makes people afraid when they get on stage is because they're not properly prepared. They're ill-prepared. Okay, so for example, if I asked you now to speak about something, a topic, what topic would you pick? That you can talk about freely without pausing for at least 60 straight seconds. What topic would you pick?
Drug abuse.
Good. So if I told you to talk about flying a plane from Port Harcourt to Lagos, how would you be able to do with that one?
I would have to prepare and gather.
So what it means is that if I told you right now that we're having a little something and we need to just come on stage to talk about drug abuse for 5 minutes, you likely feel more relaxed, right?
Yes, ma.
Because you know the topic, you understand it, you own it, and you can deliver it. So you're not afraid of, what will I say now that will go wrong? What if, no, you know, those what ifs are not there. Do you understand? So the key thing is to look for as many stage gigs as possible. But the second most critical thing is to prepare. Prepare. And that's researching, practice it. Not enough to do the research. You must practice, write out the key points, write out the questions that you think people are asking, write out those answers, and then deliver it. You see, this generation, people are lucky. You have a phone. Like I have a phone now. My phone is my video, my TV station, is my radio station, is my online station, is everything. So right now I'm using a ring light. Get a ring light, put your phone on, and press play, record. If you don't have a ring light, stand it on something. Press play, record yourself talking about this subject, especially the ones that really scare you. Imagine that in front of many people and just talk. Maybe if you go to church, you go to school, just imagine yourself in front of a crowd and practice and practice and practice. The more you do it, the more confidence you will build. And then it will be easier as you go, but you've got to chase stages. I'm not even joking. Look for anything that is a stage and tell them you want to do something. You've got to do it. The more you do it, the more you loosen up. And then it gets easier.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. Mr. Kayode, I can see your hand up. You can ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. Kayode speaking here. I just want to I want you to try to kind of place a balance on something for me. You mentioned that, okay, we agreed that the most important person in the media house is the listeners or your listeners. Yeah. And you also said that
if it's radio, it's listener. There's no plural. That's why when you're talking on radio, you're talking to one person. And you don't say things like listeners out there. There's nobody out there. It's one-on-one. Go on.
Okay, your listener. And you also said that some of the shows you do, you are purposeful and you decide to get certain type of reaction from people. Now, won't that kind of disrupt the balance? Because if the person at the other end is not happy with some of the or the way some of the show goes on, won't that affect the show? I'm trying to see how we can kind of maintain a balance. Is there an even ground?
I understand you. So you know how many years I've done, right?
Yes, 15.
So at this age, I can get away with anything. I was telling my colleague once, they were arguing about who is a presenter and who is an on-air personality. What it means is that I could be on radio and I would say something that's not true and everybody will believe. But some other person will be on radio, say the very same thing. Do you understand? Because you built capacity, you built presence, you built your personality, you are now a force. It's not the same. Do you listen to Dayo on Nigeria Info?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Dayo Elishaki.
Yes. Dayo is a classic example of the question you asked. So the intention is to get you listening, not you liking. Your liking is immaterial as long as you keep listening. So there was a Sunday morning, we were maybe going to church, and a woman calls him, Dayo, you Muslim boy, you have been sent to come and do Christianity in this state. She talked and talked and talked and talked, and she cut off. He didn't say anything to her. He continued discussing what he was discussing. 45 minutes later, the same woman called, I've been listening to you. You will not. So the question now becomes, she doesn't like him, right? She finds him annoying. Why is she still listening?
she's still listening because it's entertaining. The show she's interested
It
in
was
it.
not entertaining, it was annoying. But Dayo's intention is to keep people listening. So the topics he picks, do you understand? The way he dishes out the questions, the way he even does the preamble, everything ties together to ensure that you're listening. If you're angry at him, maybe you want to listen to somebody that will say something that would hurt him, maybe you want to listen to someone that will scatter the points he has made. Do you understand? But you keep listening. Versus the person who is doing some other not so intentional presentation, and then the ship is just moving from side to side. No, he's always in control of the show. So he steers it. It's like you're driving a 911, a Mack. You steer the ship in whichever way you want. But from the beginning, you know what you want to do. So it's not an accident. It's not a happenstance. Do you understand? For you guys who may just be starting out, it's a different ball game. You need to, because you learned and listened to several people, you need to decide the path you want to take, but it should be in line and in sync with your personality. Your personality is key. You cannot be a lion in a lamb's body. There'll be conflict. Even the kind of topics you would choose, if you're giving a free hand, would also show. Do you understand? So part of what radio has done for me, it has helped me to find myself. I have a personal relationship with Enoh Ogbevire. I know myself. So when I get on radio, I know what I'm doing. It took many years. It wasn't in the first instance. The first instance, music radio, but I was focused on excellence. Excellence. Do you understand? So for starters, it will take some time. But as you go and you focus and you do research, you focus on your content, give feedback to your audience, keep stringing them along, you will begin to form. And as you form, you can become someone like Dayo, for example, who would pick a topic that is very testing and still get away with it. Many people cannot do what Dayo is doing on radio.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I hope I answered your question. And you can also listen to a lot of radio. So for us on Nigerian, for example, we listen to LBC, London's Biggest Conversation. You could also listen to and get transcripts of Larry King. Yeah, Larry King. He did radio, TV for over 50 years before he passed. CNN. He had the Larry King show. Get his videos, watch them, listen to how he thinks. It's not how he speaks, it's how he thinks. Because how he thinks determines the kind of questions he asks.
Thank you very much, man.
You're welcome. All right. We're good?
Mr.
Tamara.
I can see your hands up. Please ask your question.
Yes, please. Yeah, thank you so very much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ma. I must say it's a great honor and privilege. I've been your ardent listener and I've been following you and John Oyemowa for a while. And for me, this is the icing on the cake for me. So I just want to ask a few questions. Firstly, yeah, I want to know, there is this school of thought for co-presenters on a show that there must be some kind of chemistry that they are supposed to have before they can co-present on a show. But you talked about, you cited an instance where I don't know now, I've forgotten the name.
Olisa, Beat FM, Beat 999 Lagos.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to relate that as against the backdrop of information that we've had, like co-presenters must have some kind of connect or some kind of chemistry to be able to flow adequately. So I don't know what would be your response to this, my first question.
They mustn't. See, just understand your job and do your job, because I've been on radio a few times with a co-presenter and the person was trying to mess me up. Because I knew my job, I was able to weave myself out of that thing. And then people started sending the message and saying, what's wrong with your colleague? Why is he trying to do that? Do you understand? But if I didn't know what I was doing, I would have been very embarrassed and maybe even embarrassed myself on his behalf. So the thing is, you focus on being a professional. A cordial relationship would help, but it's not absolutely necessary. So you'll be fine. But if you don't know your job and you have a cordial relationship, you'll just be like a third wheel, because the person would own the show and you'll be like a third wheel. You should be that person that we are not on the show is not all right. People just know that. The callers will be asking, so where's Mike? Hello, where's Mike? And the other person will be wondering, but I'm here now. Do you understand? So it's the profession more than the relationship. Relationship would help, could help, but not the most important thing.
All right, absolutely right. I get this. So let me just shoot a question from the Dios instance that you shared.
Okay.
I hope you wouldn't mind, but I want to take it a bit personal. Yeah, that the freeze is someone that is seen to be a bit controversial on radio.
Very controversial.
Okay, so I wouldn't know if that's intentional, but if it is, where is the distinguishing line when a presenter is trying to, whip up emotion, sentiments on the radio just to catch a clout from the audience, and when it's impacting on the organizational goal?
Okay, so so part of what radio is, right? Radio is not telling you what you already know. That should not be part of what radio does. Radio is to help you think. A lot of Nigerians do not think. Radio is supposed to awaken your cells, your brain cells. So many things, especially in a religious, pretending to be religious country like Nigeria, you find that many things people just take hook, line, and sinker. Do you understand? But when you start to listen to someone like Dio, for example, or Freeze, you start to ask yourself certain questions. Don't you know that? Have you not found yourself doing that? Even though they are saying something that might be rubbish, but as long as you listen, it will start to filter into your mind gradually. Then one day you find yourself asking yourself some critical questions. Maybe not that in light of what they were asking, but in some other personal way. How does it impact the radio station? We have managers that listen. If your manager is not comfortable with what you're talking about, they send a note or they tell you, tweak it, or if it's bad, they'll tell you, shut it down. Other than that, as long as, and there's something we call pushing the envelope, or pushing, you question status quo. So that's something that Dio does, something that Freeze does. You keep pushing the limits. There is a limit, but you're allowed to push it, because as you're doing that, more people are listening. More people are having conversations. In fact, sometimes in some WhatsApp groups, is what you're talking about that they're discussing. Are you listening to this guy? Are you to this person? That if he starts it again, before you know, you're trending on. Why do people trend on Instagram for something they talked about on radio? That's the effect. So as they are talking about it on radio, they are mentioning Nigerian info. Where is it? What's their dial? 99.3. That's Lagos dial. 99.3. And let me listen to that stupid man self. What does the person do? They tune in. By the time you check at the end of the month, Freeze's ratings will go up. It's not cloud. Cloud is a new language for this new age. Nowadays, even up there, we don't chase cloud. We look for the numbers. So Freeze's ratings will go up. Radio stations' ratings will go up as well. Do you understand? But if it is a thing that the organization has a problem with, and really, if you look at it, except maybe he does his own private whatever live, but on radio, I don't think there are certain things he would say, because we have the NBC also monitoring us. But if he's doing an IG live session, he can abuse somebody directly, but already he won't do that. He'll just maybe imply, but he won't do that outright. I mean, if I listen to a regular radio show every day and it's boring and it's regular, what is now the X factor? What's the wow factor? What is this man get mind though? Give us something more now. How about? So that's what they're doing. And if you don't like them, you can listen to someone like Gabriella, for example, at 12, who's just smiling and laughing. You You know, that's a good thing about radio. There are different flavors. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't like this one, chop another one. Everyone has their audience.
Wow. Thank you so very much, ma. I just want to say thank you to encourage you in what you are doing.
Thank you.
Okay, Emmanuel, I can see your hand up. Please ask your question.
Let's be done in
Good
5.
afternoon.
I need to move. Yeah, go on, sir.
Good afternoon, ma.
Wilson, go on.
Oh, okay, good afternoon, ma. I want to ask, would you put your credibility as a journalist at stake in order to play that controversial role, in order to look for the numbers, and to play the devil's advocate, just like you mentioned with Dio and with Daddy Freeze? Another character I find like that controversial is Sandra Ezekwesili of Nigerian Info in Lagos.
Yes.
So I want to know if you will put your credibility, because I find that sometimes what they do, actually, it's kind of questions their credibility as journalists, and sometimes
like what?
Like when they come out to to defend people who supposedly do things that are not good in the eyes of the public, but like they defend, or they what Dio does sometimes on his shows, and he's like, and everybody's calling and bashing him, and this is not right, this is not like that, So I want to know if in chasing the numbers, it is actually right sometimes to play the devil's advocate and put your credibility on the line.
I don't know why you're using the word credibility here. I don't know why you're using the word credibility here, but the way I feel about something might not be the way you feel about something. I mean, if you live in a house where there are 3 people, I'm sure that within every 6 hours, there'll be something that 3 of you don't agree on, right? So it's okay to play the devil's advocate. You're not the person. I mean, really, if somebody stole, is it me that stole? My credibility is not at stake. But it's okay to play the devil's advocate because somebody has to do it. And that's the truth. Somebody has to do it. You may choose not to do it, but somebody has to do it. Then, yeah, I know Sandra. For me, I know Sandra personally. She's someone that wants to push the envelope all the time. So I think that's just the persona she has chosen to carry, and it's fine. She's the one carrying it, not me. I won't say I'm the person that chases the numbers. I just try to do an excellent work. I want to be done, and you think about what I just talked about. So I don't know if the word credibility comes in or if it fits what you're asking. People that know me know who I am. And when I play the devil's advocate, they could know, or maybe some days they don't know. It doesn't change anything. Tomorrow they will listen again. They will listen.
Okay, ma'am.
So don't get too caught up in the morality question. People are fickle. You see those people that are shouting today, the next day they will support it when it's their brother. I'm sure you've heard it on radio.
Yes,
when it's Jonathan, leave him. When it's Buhari, not now, they want to kill us, Boko Haram, terrorists. People are very fickle. That's why on this path, focus on excellence, be intentional, and be professional. Leave people alone. They will come around, last. And I was listening to you before, I stopped listening, but I heard you say something today. How did you hear? You've been listening. Something you just said today is a lie. Shadow, we call it a love-hate relationship. So they love you so much that that's become hate. They don't know. Or they hate you so much that become love. They don't know. And they're listening. So don't worry too much about that part of the conversation. No. Worry about your content and your ability to move quickly. It's like dancing. It's like sparring. You move quickly. And you carry people along. Everybody's not going to be your audience. Everybody's not going to like you. And the part of a journalist is not to be liked. The more people that like you, better, shall. But last, the likeness, what does it translate to? You know, look at Piers Morgan. He's the Baba, he's the godfather of this thing. Do you know that?
Yes.
He will talk about,
yes.
This one is even mean. That's another, see, Piers Morgan, very mean. We here were just talking. Piers Morgan, he comes with a knife and a dagger and a hammer to drive it through your heart. And he's popular. He's about the most popular British presenter. Ah.
All right, ma. Thank you, ma.
You're welcome. Final question. Final question, anyone?
Please, if you have
Thank
any
you.
questions, please raise up your hand. Thank you. Okay, Mike Cookie, please ask your question.
I'm sorry, man. You don't mind.
All right.
Yeah, just to get that striking difference between an OAP, a presenter. These days, it's something that people find it difficult to. So I don't know if you could give us the distinguishing line between an OAP and a presenter.
No. See, basically, yeah, it's my boss thinks it's semantics. Just like saying a driver and a chauffeur. Say semantics. Because they both sit in front of a microphone. But for me, it's how much influence do you control? And not just the influence, with which group of people. Because bottom line, we want the people that have the buying power. It's not just anyone who's listening. No, people that have the buying power. So let's say you're done where you're working and you want to run your own show. Let's say Sammy, for example, wants to run his own sports show. Would he be able to get sponsors? So it's not that Sammy is popular. Is he popular with the guys that have the money? Is he popular with the guys that can say, go and get the cost of 6 months here, I'll pay? That's what we're talking about. So leave the semantics alone. Presenter OAP, bottom line is influence, where your power day. If they are talking in the stage, do they mention your name? Who knows you? Who knows you? The other day, my bosses came from Lagos. They went to government house, and the guy said, in less than 15 minutes, Wiki had mentioned our name like 5 times. And he said, I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know what you guys are doing. But how many radio stations do we have in Port Harcourt? And there were government radio stations there because it was a head of media thing. There were other media houses there. Some of them, they were never mentioned in that whole time that they were there. It tells something. Do you understand? So that I have power with whom? That I have influence with whom? Where? If you want to do a show, for example, now and say, pay 500, can you fill a hall of 200, 500? Can you have people sign up online to watch your events? 300, 100, even 50 people. So forget all this noise that people are making. You don't have money. You don't have influence. What's going on?
My God. Thank you.
That's what's up. Final question, please. I'm not run.
That's funny. That's funny.
So let's work at being excellent. Let's have like a diary, the new things you're learning, new things you're going to try out. Also use your social media, questions you want to use on radio, you can test them on social media. And follow influencers that resonate with what you're doing. If they're doing events, show up, post their things on your walls. It's very important because we see these things. Not an influencer, don't mind me. We see these things and we know. So somehow you would see someone that you think is a nobody with someone that you have been meaning to meet and wondering how this person make this connect. The person may have been chatting, I don't have money to pay for this course, but I'm going to advertise it, and all that. So just, but focus, understand what you're doing, learn, expand your mind, listen to good radio. I listen to BBC radio, like I can listen all day, I won't be bored. You don't have to be like me. If you're a heart radio person, Radio 1, music radio person, listen to music radio, see how they introduce songs, see how they talk about the artist. Listen to like Rick D's, and there's this one that, what's his name? Mariah Carey's former husband, Ryan Seacrest. No, it's not Ryan. Is it Ryan? Is it Ryan? Yeah, I think so. Listen to his music show. Listen across the lines. Yeah? Listen across the lines. Don't be that person that, no, because life can happen and you find yourself somewhere else. There was talk radio when we were younger, yeah, but there was no talk radio when I started working. I'd done about 6 years before I joined Nigeria Info, and I've been here since, and I've grown, I've learned a lot, And I like that in all of this time, I've been able to preserve my core. and been able to find myself and define my person and my brand. So let's be more intentional about what we do, and let's commit to the hard work. It pays off. It does pay off. Dress well, take photos, go for a photo session, maybe once every quarter, gather the money, 10K, 15K, hire clothes if you need to. Have new pictures every now and then. So when you're having events, it will not be repetition. They'll be using the same photo over and over. No.
Thank you, Ma. You mind dropping your media handle?
Enigma City.
Enigma.
ENIGMACITY. When I was on music radio, they used to call me Enigma. ENIGMACITY. So I went by the name Enigma. So when I got on socials, my very first Twitter, very first on Twitter, it was Enigma City, and that's what it is, Enigma City. So when you want to give yourself a name, think about it too. Don't give yourself a name that is funny or that people that have money will not be able to relate to.
Thank you so very much, Ma.
All right, we're good?
Mr. Olisa, I can see your hands up. Please ask your questions quickly. Thank you.
Olisa.
Yes, Ma. Thank you, Ma. Good afternoon, Ma. Wonderful lecture. Yes. So I have a question. So, Ma, what do you do when your listener criticizes you with something you said on social media?
On air?
Yes, on air. You know, the NBC, or maybe you said something controversial.
To ignore them. You know, what I've found out, Olisa, is that the one I used to pepper most is ignoring them. That one used to pepper. If you talk back, you've given them importance. So the few times that I want to talk back, I don't mention names. That one too, they pepper. But the worst one, the worst pill to give them, the poison, just ignore them. That one, they pepper like this. But if you're going to answer, like I answered somebody in their folly on Twitter, and the person, I blocked the person. The person was asking for that 13-year-old child's video. And I don't understand how anybody that has a brain wants to watch child pornography. And I said the person was an unfortunate soul. And the person now comes on my show this morning and says, how can Enoh that says she's teaches morals on rise to wisdom, call somebody an unfortunate soul, blah, 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 blah. I just reported the tweet fast. I ignored the person. But I tried to search for the person. I found that, oh, it was the same person I had blocked a while ago. I just moved on. Because some people will not have sense, and it's not on you to force sense to people. You just talk your own. Who wants to grow will grow, who wants to go will go. You can't help that. So the best thing is to ignore them. Daya does that a lot. But the day he wants to answer you, he will enter your mouth and come out in your leg. Just ignore them. I think that's the best thing. If it's a phone call, just pretend as if you didn't see it. Or you can just block them. I mean, there are options. Mute. I'm not patient for muting. I just block you. Ignore you. No time now. Do you know how many people are on my timeline? Over 13,000. And is this one that does not pay my rent, does not give me money, does not give me gigs, does not, you have no value to me now. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
What I better go. Very fast. I just blocked the thing. I don't even know you before anyway. If I see you on the street, I don't know it's you. What am I now thinking about? Why am I bothering myself about you? People that I know that know me, if they even see that comment, they'll say, you answer and well, my idiots.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So can I run now?
Yes, thank you so much for the class. Very insightful, and
you're welcome.
Experience having and
all right. I can barely hear you, but that's fine.
Oh, okay, ma. Thank you for the class.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Okay, ma.
All right. So give feedback to Sammy for me, please. I know he left the room a while ago, but give feedback to him for me.
Okay, ma.
Everyone. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Okay, everybody. Thank you for joining the class. You can send your lessons learned to the group chat. I hope we all learned a thing or two that we can practicalize in our journey in the media. Can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.